Hey, Jack and Lynn, this is George Ford with Water Missions. It's a little after 3 Eastern Time, and been meaning to follow up, and I apologize for the delay. Thank you for your follow-up email. Part of the reason is the projects are moving forward, but in Kenya, however, these are pretty remote, and there's not a ton of information to be able to provide at this point. And the other thing is the ability to provide it is a little bit challenging in terms of helping understand what that means outside of just sending a photo and being able to call and talk about it. So I thought I'd try something new. This is a video capture of my computer screen, and being able to look at Google Earth, which is looking at the world. And in this case, we're obviously looking at Africa. And I wanted to share with you where we're working with these projects, and where we are and what's going on. So with Africa, this is Kenya here, where my mouse is moving. Outside of Kenya, Water Missions has a full-time presence in Uganda, which is right next door, and then also in this little sliver of a country called Malawi. That's actually where Foster and Lynn have really had their hearts in opening doors for Water Missions to go and work in that area. And we're also in the process of opening up a program in this big country here. This is Tanzania. But as we look at Kenya specifically, as we zoom in on the country, what you're seeing, we have an online database where we track our projects, and each one of these little icons represents a project that we've done, and where we try and keep details on what's going on. The specific projects that we're talking about with you guys are actually over here in the east. And if you see these little trucks, if you can see that on the screen, those trucks are the indicator that we have work underway, whereas over here these little icons essentially mean an installed water system. So a little bit more time and these trucks will be turned into water systems. So what's exciting about where we're working is, if you notice, there's not a whole lot of work over in this area, and the major reason for that is because it's drought relief and it's not safe. And the government of Kenya is actually limiting how much work and who all can go in there. There's only a short list of other charities that are currently allowed to work in that area, and Water Missions is not one. One of our partners is a group called the Danish Refugee Council, and these are large government-funded initiatives and charities that basically have the ear of the government. And we're in partnership with the Danish Refugee Council, and then there's another charity that's based out of the U.S. that's called World Serve, the three of us are essentially working in this area. And these 5 projects are drought relief projects. As far as what does drought relief mean, eastern Kenya has had a lack of rain. They still get some rain, but overall it's been down and it's been less overall. And as a result, literally people are migrating in order to be able to support their livelihoods. They may have cattle or some other way of surviving, that if they don't have water, then they can't survive. Great example is this project that's on the far right of the screen is known as Laboy. If you look at this little screen that popped up here, it's showing there's only a population of 900 people. If we zoom into this project, and we're coming now down into this specific project, this is actually the border between Kenya and Somalia. And you look at the distance, if we get out our little ruler here, and from Laboy to the border, straight shot, it is only 8.5 miles, so say 9 miles. It's really close. And as we zoom in on into this community, this is an aerial view. We're now about 5,600 feet above the ground. Continue to zoom in. These are just basically little homes. Each little home has its own little privacy type wall, and not a whole lot of activity. The lack of green and population here is obviously contrasted with, as you get out here, there's nothing almost. So 900 people, that's actually the population of this little area year-round. There's a little dirt airstrip that you can get in and out of. Just for comparison purposes, we live in Charleston, South Carolina, which you've been invited, and I hope at some point you'll get to come and visit us. for comparison purposes, you go and look. This is actually zooming into our headquarters here. Quite a bit more structure and significance in terms of putting those two side by side, literally world apart, and not just in distance. But coming back over to our project, and I hope I'm not making you sick as you're looking at your screen with this. Please bear in mind this is a trial. So LaBoy, 900 people year-round as you look at this. So the issue here happened with the refugee camp and people in need of water is that when the rain, drought and lack of rain really starts to hit, people literally start descending on this town in search of water, in search of any water. And their population actually goes from around 900 to 15,000. And that has a huge impact on these areas, and it's a significant need. If you notice our little truck out here, this is actually where the project is going to be located. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see there are some existing structures that are already out here. There have been some groups that have been out in the past that have attempted to address the issue. These items right here these are some photos from the assessment. These 4 items that you see here are some existing structures, these tanks. And what we're doing with our assessment is we basically go out and we look at what is already there and existing structures that we can utilize, and then we can piece our systems around making it a better project. With these particular projects, I thought I'd step through a couple of photos. Just getting out to these locations is pretty nasty. There's obviously a lot of water here and no bridge. This is not where our refugee camps are, but this is just getting out to the location. Then once we're in the refugee camps, you start to see how these folks are living, these tents and makeshift structures and little barrier walls here to keep animals out. Again, you see the homes of these folks that are living as refugees out in this area. Another shot from that. This is one of the local fellas. So this is a shot showing some of the existing structures. The problem with these setups is that they're all dependent on diesel. All of these previous setups, well, I guess 2 things. One is there's a limited amount of water that's available coming out of the existing water sources, and they're being powered with generators. And if you look out where these things are located, we come back to our map here. There is no supply chain. There's nothing out here. And so the ability to be able to supply that on an ongoing basis with diesel fuel is a very, very challenging proposition. So what we're looking at doing is coming into locations like this one and increasing the yield and then powering it off of solar and basically eliminating the need for diesel fuel. Love this photo. You look at the livelihood of these people is not just on them getting water, it's also on their animals getting water. So part of our designs are incorporating troughs. You see the camels in the background here. And a few more shots. Excuse me. Beautiful colors. And these are again assessment photos. So our partnership with the 2 groups that I mentioned earlier, Danish Refugee Council and then also with WorldServe. Danish Refugee Council has the authority to be in this area. WorldServe is our partner on the drilling front. They actually have these rigs, and they are the ones that are responsible for drilling the hole to be able to source the water. And then Water Missions is coming in with the engineering work behind that to basically source the water and pump it. And we're in the process of moving that part forward, and it's going to be over the next 2 months. These 5 projects, I believe the plans are to knock out 4 of them, and then move on to the 5th one. So again, this is actually a trough for cattle. These are existing setups. You can see it's pretty barren, and then this closing photo I thought was a good one just to look at the conditions in the areas that we're working in. So just wanted to say thank you. The funds that you're that you've made available going into these projects. These are probably some of the poorest of poor locations that we've worked, and the impact that it's going to have is significant, and will be huge. And this is just kind of an initial overview of what's going on with these 5 projects. I'm happy to speak more in depth in a phone call, or if that's something of interest. And as I continue to get information back from Kenya with what's going on and with the work in these, I will keep you updated as well. But I thought I'd just give you a quick kind of snapshot view of the work that's going on, and then hope to reconnect at a later time. So thank you again for this opportunity. Again, my apologies for the delay in getting back to you, and please feel free to let me know if you'd like further details.